Okay. All right. Welcome to Leadership 101, everyone. I see we've got some new faces here tonight. That's so exciting. So this is a weekly little book review that we're doing. We like to choose books that we feel will benefit not just our Plexus business, but life in general. And we'll typically cover about a chapter a week, depending on the book. This one that we're just starting, The 4 Color Personalities of MLM, is a super quick read, so we're just going to break it up into little sections. So we're going to be covering the foreword or the preface through page 12 tonight. So hopefully you guys all did your reading and you're ready to rock this. I'm really excited about working on this book together. And you know what? These Zooms are best when there's a lot of communication, a lot of interaction. So I really ask that you will share your thoughts and your input. It makes it so much more valuable for you to be here if you're going to participate. And it also really is good practice in a safe place, if you know what I'm saying. Help you get out of your comfort zone and shell and start sharing and working on your leadership potential. So anyways, you can go ahead and unmute yourselves, but I have everyone muted for now just so it's nice and clear. And another thing, the way we run these is we trade off. Like this week, I'll assign someone to cover the next section, which will do the whole yellow section next week. And so I'll pick someone to do that. And then we always meet same day, same time, Monday at 6 o'clock. It's 30 minutes, real quick. We like lots of conversation, like I said, okay? So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So what is this book and what isn't it? I love the fact that he points out that this is not one of those there's a lot of different, what does he call them in here? Like systems to analyze people that you can use when prospecting for your business that have like questionnaires, and you try to figure out like a detailed summary of their personality and all this stuff. And that's not what this is. And that's why it works, because it is so simple and quick and easy to understand that you can use it in general for pretty much most everyone you talk to. It's, just asking a few questions can help you figure out what their color personality is, and then you know what language to speak to them. And I love that. So I've read the whole book all the way through once, and that's why I chose to do this as one of our books, because I felt like it's something that we can all really benefit from. And like I said, not just in Plexus, but in life in general. So this book is designed to help you, number one, quickly identify which personality types your prospects are, and number two, know the exact words to say to them in their secret language so that your message is received clearly and with more rapport, okay? So it also teaches you what not to say to them, because it's depending on their personality type. The words that you speak really like either play a positive impact or a negative impact. And the same words would affect one color personality completely opposite of another one possibly. So it's really, really cool to be aware of this, and just that, recognize the fact that that people are so different. And as long as you are able to communicate well with them in a way that's meaningful to them, then they will embrace your message typically. Especially when we have something like Plexus where really everyone benefits from it. Who doesn't want better health, possibly some weight loss, some extra income, and more happiness, right? Who doesn't want that? The opportunity to make a difference in the world and do good. So anyways, he gives the psychologist warning that, psychologists typically would hate this book because it's not a detailed breakdown. Like, I guess Hippocrates was the first one to come up with a psychological breakdown of personalities in the 20th century, or of the 20th century. But that is not resourceful in what we do, right? Communication, we want it to be realistic. So forget anything that you've learned before, and just kind of apply this simple system. And I just always think simple is best, So in this book, he gives a lot of really easy to learn shortcuts. And what I love about it is he makes it, like, he exaggerates it a lot. And so, of course, like, everyone's going to be a combination typically of different colors, but they'll usually have like one primary color or two that are very, very close, their strongest color language. But he, and he really exaggerates the good qualities of that color personality and the bad qualities. And he makes sure, like, you understand not to take offense. If you happen to be that color personality and you take offense to the way he kind of pokes fun at that color, the reason he does that is because it's very memorable for you, and he's not trying to put down anyone, because every color has their pros and cons, or their advantages or disadvantages, however you want to call it. But it does make it easy to remember. He kind of, because he does it with a sense of humor and exaggeration, and that makes it easier for you to recognize and remember what the different colors are. So don't take offense if you happen to be a red and you think that he's like, poking fun at the reds and how rigid and competitive they are, or whatever, So just something to know there. He asks if you've ever experienced a time when you had someone that you were talking to about plexus, and immediately they recognize, like, you knew that this was something that they needed. They absolutely could benefit from the products. They had health issues, whatever. You have tons of testimonials that would really benefit for them to hear, that they might really resonate with. They could be possibly really interested in the income opportunity. That's something that they could definitely benefit from. And then you have a conversation with them thinking that, oh my goodness, this is, they're going to join my team. This is so awesome. This is perfect for them. And suddenly they say, actually, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And you're like, what the heck were they not in the same conversation as me? Because don't they get it? Like, they totally need these products. They totally need this business opportunity, or want it, or whatever. And they're just flat out saying, no, thank you. Like, how does that make any sense at all? And he says, so it's the same thing as if you flew to Portugal, okay? And you brought your product display, you did an amazing presentation in front of a group that had poor health and needed extra income. And no matter how amazing your presentation was, no matter how amazing our products are, how amazing our corporate is, how incredible our compensation plan is, which we know is the best, if they don't speak your language, it doesn't matter what you say to them. And he uses the exact, remember that, because that is so effective when you realize that even though you both speak English or whatever language you speak, when you're speaking the same language as them, but a different color personality to them, it's like you're speaking a different language, because they don't receive what you're saying. It's not meaningful to them. So that's really powerful, right? Like, we've got to learn how to speak to people effectively. And if you don't master these, let's just say, I'm not going to say you can't be effective, because obviously there's tons of people that have been super effective, like, very successful with plexus that are just now learning about these color personalities. So I won't say you can't be successful if you don't learn them. I'm saying it's a huge advantage if you do learn them, because you're going to be way more effective in talking to people. So let's move forward, and I think I've covered all this so far. I already covered all that. So it automatically makes, when you're speaking a prospect's color language, then it creates an instant connection with that person, and like they're gonna feel like you're friends. Okay, that's really important too, because people are very, very passionate about, you know, their own, I'll say they're most passionate typically about what is most natural to them, their own characteristics. So when you're speaking to their like natural characteristics, then they feel like you've bonded with them and you guys are friends. So of course we're friends with everyone, right? But that creates a connection that you can't get otherwise. So I think it's important that we understand that. All right. So let's go here. Your message will quickly go to their hearts and their minds when you speak in their color language. You can say a few sentences and you will know, and they will be interested, because what you're offering it in a way that's really intriguing to them. And so there's a few, I love that he gives a few key words that you can remember. He actually gives like a pretty long list, I guess, for each color language that are most effective, like keywords that spark that color personality and like turn them on, basically. So it's pretty cool. And he says that if you get really good at this, then, and you master those keywords and how to effectively learn people's color personalities and speak to them that way, he said that you can get people ready to join without even knowing the name of your company or what it is that you're offering, because, you know, they're so into your conversation, what you have to offer. Good news, this is not rocket science. It's pretty simple stuff, and that's what I love about it. The bad news, he says, is you kind of have to practice enough that you can quickly determine someone's color language. And once you master that skill, then you've perfected this art. But even if you know the color personalities in and out, if you don't become effective in figuring out what someone's color personality is without straight up interviewing them, no one wants to be interviewed. No one wants to feel like they're being baited or like recruited. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? So by just starting conversation with people and just asking questions about them, then that is a natural way to kind of just figure it out quickly, okay? So that's kind of the highlight and the overview of this section, and then we jump into the yellow personality. Because we only do have 4 colors, we're going to finish this book pretty quickly. And then there's kind of like an overview that we'll finish. So I'll let you guys know soon, which I've already picked our next book. It's going to be John Maxwell's 15 Laws of Growth, per recommendation of my awesome friend, Emily, who shared a Jewel Top tip last week. And she's really into like personal growth, and she did a book study with her team this year with that book that she felt like just, you know, really lit her team on fire and got them all really growing on a personal level, which is what makes all the difference, because that's all this really is, this business. It, like network marketing in general, I mean, ours is superior for sure, but network marketing in general is just a like personal development with a compensation plan, right? So the more we can work on ourselves, the more success that we will have. And I see Jen nodding and agreeing there. It's so true, right? Yep. Okay. So you can plan to get that book anytime soon, but like within the next 5 weeks, we'll be starting that one because this one's so short. So John Maxwell, 15 Laws of Growth. Okay. So let's hear your thoughts and input. We've still got a good 13 minutes, so plenty of time for conversation. So just go ahead and unmute yourself. We've got a good sized group here. I would like to hear from everyone at least once if we have the time. So maybe I'll just, you know what I'll do? I'll just call on you in order here. How about that? If we've got, maybe we don't have time to have everyone share. So I guess I'll just let you guys go ahead and volunteer. But if you can take just 30 seconds and share your thoughts. Someone want to jump in first?
Whitney.
Hi, Pat.
Hey, I think like I took the personality test on the road to rank up. So I came out as a yellow. So it's going to be really interesting to me on this.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, but I really, really got it when he said, you can have the greatest products, have the greatest compensation plan, know that your founders walk on water, you know, the whole bit. And you're presenting it to somebody. And the example was, I did know people that really would benefit from the compensation plan, but I guess the way either they just didn't want to click or maybe my presentation wasn't right.
Yeah, you weren't speaking in their language.
Yeah, it just didn't come. So now, after this, I'm going to try them again.
Yeah, you should. And you should, like, you know, figure out what color personality they are and then come to them with, you know what? This is so exciting. I really think you need to take another look at this and then speak their language, and I bet you'll get a different result.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Pat. Okay, who else has thoughts here?
Hi, Whitney.
Hi.
I think that was what, I mean, I took away too. I just, you know, I feel like I'm really thoughtful in how I, you know, put something out there before I say it. I'm really thinking about how I'm saying things to, like, you know, not come across salesy or whatever.
Awesome.
But this just hit me like, yeah, okay, well, there's different ways, different keywords that, you know, will really speak to someone depending on what kind of color personality they are. So I think this is going to be awesome. Just looking forward to learning about the different personalities.
Awesome. And we're excited to have you here, Susan.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, who else?
Okay, so can you hear me, Whit?
Yep. Hi, Renee.
Hi. So I feel like sometimes people are really easy to tell. Like, if people start asking me about, like, ingredients and science details, then I know they're agreeing. But what are some other ways to, like, know, you know?
Well, I mean,
Do you
the
have any
best way to
ideas?
know is to really just start a conversation with them and ask questions, because the more you carry on a conversation and the more you ask them about, like, the questions should be, like, what's most important to you, you know? And without coming straight out and saying that, like, find out, you know, what are their favorite things to do? What are their, you know, their favorite ways to spend their time? If it was going and doing service, then they would be a yellow color personality. If they're really competitive in sports, then they're possibly a red personality. If they're really, like, they want to party, just have a good time, then they're totally blue. And if they want, like, you know, if they're really quiet and very methodical, then they're probably a green. And sometimes people are a mix of two, and it's really hard to pinpoint which one it is. But I think that if you do have a decent conversation with someone, you can take a pretty good guess. Sometimes it's so obvious, like, you're just like, holy red, you know what I mean? But Really, it is. Like once you read the book and really digest it, you're like, wow. Because I can think of people right now that I know that I can say, I know exactly what color you are. And then there's others that I'm like, well, I think she might be this color, but she might be this one. So she's probably a good combo of the two. So does that make sense?
Yes. So I guess I should be asking more questions about them and not just what their goals are with Plexus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you make
Perfect.
conversation, like natural life conversation is what's going to help you figure out their color personality. It's not going to be like, well, are you more interested in earning income or getting healthy? You know what I mean? Because that's a sales pitch. When you're starting a conversation with them and you're just like, hey, what do you love to do with your spare time? You know, what do you do with your kids when you have the weekend off or whatever? Then that can kind of clue you in best. So.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else, thoughts or questions? We have an awesome big group here now. Nice. I love it.
I'm like, Whitney, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I like when he gave the example of going to Portugal and any foreign country for that matter, and you asking them or telling them about your upline and how they're so supportive and this and that. They don't care. They have no idea what we're talking about. And I like that he used that analogy because it really makes sense with some people, because some people don't think about the business side of it. They're looking at, oh, you're getting healthier doing this. I want to know what you're doing, not, oh, and you're making how much money? You know, their mind isn't quite there until they see the value in it. So I like that he gave that foreign country analogy.
Yeah, that's really powerful, huh? Because it helps you realize, I mean, that's such a drastic example because obviously, sorry, Monty's shampooing carpets upstairs and it's so loud. Obviously, that's like a pretty drastic example. You wouldn't fly somewhere you didn't speak the language and set up a presentation and think people are going to understand you. But that's literally how confusing it can be when someone's a really strong personality type and you're talking to them in your color personality, which is completely different from theirs. They're like, nothing that you're saying is of any value to me. It's not like they don't understand it. It's that it doesn't mean anything to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, other thoughts?
Can you hear me, Whitney?
I sure can. Hi, Hannah.
Okay. Hi. I agree that the Portugal example was, and like he said, he exaggerates a bit. So, but I thought that was a really good example because I've had that happen a couple times where it seems like someone is very interested and they're listening to everything I have to say, and then all of a sudden the conversation goes somewhere else and they just don't bring it up again.
Yeah,
so,
right? You were speaking wrong language. Doesn't it make sense? Now you're like, oh yeah, now I get it. Because you could have been, you know, if you had been talking to a different color personality, everything you said could have been exactly what they wanted to hear. And it could have been a very different result. Isn't that crazy to think about?
It's really interesting. I can't wait to read more and find out a little bit more about that in detail.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're here. How fun.
So I was just
Thank you.
I was just thinking that not only is this going to help us with our business, it's going to help with our day-to-day life. Because haven't you ever met a friend where you talk to them and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to be their friend, and they just like really don't give you the time of day? It's the same. It's like the same concept. And so
yep.
So like this could help us with our marriage.
Oh my gosh, with your kids. Big
kids.
With your kids. That's my problem is my children.
Right? I hear you, Trisha.
I like how
I can just and you know, if you really understand the color personalities, then I think you can really just right away probably identify all the people that are closest in your circle. You're like, oh yeah, he's a yellow, he's a green, he's, you know what I mean? It's really cool.
Yeah. I'm excited because it's already, I'm already just thinking about all the past conversations that I've had that were kind of weird, that I'm like, that totally makes sense that's why that didn't work.
Right? And aren't you going to feel so much more empowered now because you're going to feel like, oh, I understand how to talk to you after you have a little chit chat with them. So,
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more.
Awesome.
Tonight.
What's that, Tracy?
But I want to finish reading the book tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a really quick read. You
I'm already like, I was
probably read it 4 or 5 times by the time we finish all the chapters. Okay, anyone else? Haven't heard from Bernita, Venna, Jean. I don't know whose phone number this is. There's not a name on the 801. Nicole. Both Nicole.
Whitney.
Terry.
So I was just going to say that it's funny that Hannah said what she did, because Hannah, when I connected with Hannah, we totally got each other. It was just like we were best friends forever.
You guys must be the same color personality.
Yes, and it was
so.
the weirdest thing to me, because it just, the way that it went, it was just like, wait, is this girl leading me on? This is too easy. So
it'll be interesting to see if you guys are the same color personality, because I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think we might be.
Yeah, for sure. Yellow
That's
totally
awesome.
sounded like
Right.
me, so.
Right.
Hey, it's Bernita.
Hey, Bernita.
Do you guys think that colors can change? Like when I think of friendships, like someone like you brought up, Janelle, like over times you're super close with somebody for years and years and years, and then something changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if the color personality can change over time.
I don't think we're talking like characteristics that people are born with, and especially when you have someone that's just naturally strong, more dominant in one color. I don't really think that life situations are ever going to change that personally, but I mean, probably if they're like wishy-washy between 2 or 3 colors and they're pretty even, then I think they could go back and forth between the, maybe.
I agree with you, Whitney. I don't think that maybe they're dominant one, but I think that each of these characteristics are kind of learned. Like you can learn to be more helpful and more loving and more kind, and you can learn to be more organized and a little more aggressive. It may not be your dominant one, but it would be something that you can learn to do.
But I think by nature, it just doesn't matter to you as much as the other things. You know what I mean? So in a way, I think that it's better to not try to say, now here's an example. Like you may think that you may be a red, and you may think because of the way he sarcastically like helps you remember what a red personality is, you may think, I don't want to be red. Like, oh my gosh, they're so rude. But the thing is, that doesn't mean that you can't care about people and you don't love people. It's better for you to embrace red and find a way to communicate with other people as a red and be your happiest red that you can be than to try to change color personalities, because it's going to be so foreign and fake to you that it's not going to work. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like you should just figure out what color personality you are, especially if you're dominant, and just be the best of that color personality that you can possibly be.
Whitney, it's really funny that you say that, because I keep coming out a red, and I keep taking the stupid test over and over again, because I'm like,
really? Oh my gosh, that's like
I'm pretty much tied with red and yellow.
I would think you're yellow. That's crazy to me. So if you are, sorry, go ahead.
I just think like if you're close to them, like I could see where you would be confused by like saying, well, maybe they changed to this color, but they're more of this color. And yeah, I keep reading the red, and I'm like, I'm more of the person, I'm like, okay, just tell me how many people do I need? What do I have to do? I don't want to hear all about the potential.
Yeah, right?
You know,
give me the
I'm that way I am, but then the other ways I was like, ooh.
Red can be amazing. I'll tell you what, I bet some of the top leaders in this company are reds. So you should just embrace being a red. That doesn't mean that you're not a caring person, because I mean, if I were to guess what color personality you were naturally, like I would think you're more yellow, but I mean, I don't know you super well. So maybe if I did get to know you better, I would see that red come out more. But I mean, obviously you're so kind and caring that the yellow comes out very strongly too. So you should be proud of that.
So I was just going to say, I can see why you would think, oh, maybe they're changing to this one, because maybe they are very high in 2 of them. And so it's hard to like read which is, which color.
And depending on what they're doing at the moment, they may be more red in that situation or more yellow in that situation. You know what I mean? So that's very true.
I took the test too, and I am not a dominant in one. I'm like Nicole, where I was equally as high in yellow as I was in red. So I think that that's where that comes when like people jump back and forth, is that
yeah,
I can have a dominant. It was like the same amount of answers in each color.
Wow, well that's awesome. Take advantage of both. And you guys should be BFFs. You guys would understand each other really well.
So is the test in the book too, or?
No, I think you have to go online to take it. Right?
Go online.
Right. It's on the Rank Up roadmap.
Mm-hmm. You can also find it just online. But if you're super dominant, I tell you what, you're going to read your color and you're going to be like, how does he know me? Dude, he wrote that whole thing all about me. That's so crazy. Because you're going to feel like he's talking about you. Exactly. Even on the exaggerations one for me, because I'm super blue. I'm like super dominant blue. And when I read it and he was like making fun of blue, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so me. It's so true. So, but obviously even no matter what color you are, and you'd probably think blue would be the least likely to be successful. If you're confident in being your color and you just like work it as hard as you can and own it, then you can be successful at any color. So, okay, let's wrap it up. We're out of time. Does anyone have any last thoughts?
Nope.
Okay, I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Let's get to yellow. And I'm going to invite someone that has not shared with us before. Trisha, do you mind doing the yellow chapter?
What? Oh, I don't know how to do all of this techie stuff.
You know what, girl? You go through the chapter with a highlighter and you just like record your thoughts.
I've already read almost all of yellow.
Well, there you go. See? You're good to go. It is not bad to be red, Benaray. You're so cute. Red is awesome. I wasn't trying to say red is bad because I'm kind of jealous of reds.
I'm a good mix. I'm green, yellow, and red. The blue is like, no, I am not blue at all.
I would probably really frustrate the heck out of you then.
Well, I'm friends with your sister. Laura is definitely, you and Laura are
as blue as I am. But you know what's funny? Like Adrian and I are super close. And Adrian, I will tell you, that girl is probably one of the reddest people I know. And my blue, I can tell it frustrates the heck out of her sometimes. But we still love each other. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know how I am. Luckily, she loves me anyway. So anyways, awesome conversation. Thanks for all the input, guys. And so next Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time is the yellow breakdown. Super exciting. So Trisha, we'll count on you. Just let me know if you have any questions, but super, super easy. Okay. You got this. All right. Awesome. Everyone have a great night. Love you guys.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.